Hello gamers, Matt Unke here with True Gamer Goggles and another figure forge. Today's figure forge will be building the gear variant of the NuCoal Hussar from DreamPod 9 for heavy gear. We'll be using zip kicker if we need, probably won't. It's resin, it's hot today. And we'll be using Zap-A-Gap glue. A well-loved bottle of Zap-A-Gap glue at that. Looks like you got a nip. Not gonna be fun. I have to take the top off it. The Hussar tank variant has the same parts that the gear variant has. The basic difference between the tank variant and the gear variant is the feet. And it looks like they gave me the back set anyway too as well. We'll see where these go. But I actually kind of think these are extra pieces. Pieces you're going to need to assemble just the gear portion of the body and arms, etc. are the arm pieces, obviously. Basically anything that is not weapon related is body related in this model, which isn't always the case. Now, the only picture we have to go off of, the only set of instructions is right here, which is going to make things kind of fun and interesting. I'm guessing that goes like that. And this will go on the other one. So we're going to go ahead and put a drop of glue. In there. And put it together. And I just noticed something. I'm going to take that and I'm going to hinge that back just a little bit, I hope. Because it looks like there's a shield that goes on that foot, which I'm going to look into here in a second, as soon as this dries. I'm going to set this aside and let it dry. Hopefully it's firm enough that I can do that. And I'm going to grab the other two pieces. It looks like, let's zoom in a little bit for you. It looks like there's more to the model there. It kind of looks like this piece. This little flap gets flapped on to protect the actuators and stuff. Interesting. So I'm going to make myself another leg here. And I'm going to drop a drop of glue in here. And yeah, this is a really big hole in this glue bottle now because it's glued shut. So I'm probably going to do some cheating here in a minute. I'm going to destroy a paintbrush or two for some of the smaller pieces. Set that aside and let it dry as well. See if I can't grab the other one. I'm going to take the container the Hussar came in, drop some super glue on that, and I'm going to take one of these little resin scraps, and I'm going to grab that piece that I said goes on the ankle. Just go like this with a little bit of glue. Note to self, next time I build a Hussar, I put these on first. Because they're a pain in the butt to hold. It'd be really cool if you had a nice 1/8 of a millimeter drill and pin, and pinned it so they were like mud flaps. I'm going to set that aside and let it dry. I'm going to do the same thing to the other one. As soon as I find that little arrow piece, there it is. Looks like it needs a little bit more cleanup. Not much at all. A little bit of glue. A little bit of glue. Try to get that in there. About 5 seconds. Should go good. Set it aside. Let it dry on its own. Then we're going to move up to the torso body portion, which goes like this. Boy, I think I'm actually going to wait on that. I want to maybe play with it and get it on the model first. Which it looks like it goes in here nice. It goes in these. It's going to be a nice fit. In fact, I am going to try and put it in on one side like that. Now, I should have played around with it a little bit more to see if I could have had some more flexibility to it. Well, let's see. Let's see what happens. Put a drop of glue in there. Hold it for like 5 to 10 seconds before you set it aside. Definitely going to want to set it aside and let it dry. It's a nice fit. I've been avoiding putting this model together because I was afraid of trying to make it stand up, and well, I think I was silly because it looks like it's going to go together fairly easily. The hardest part's going to be the arms. I'll set this aside and let it dry. And I'm going to go ahead and start moving around some of these pieces while I'm doing this. Where is this? I really don't see where this would go on this model. I think I got it by accident extra. Unless it goes on the back somewhere up top, which is highly possible. Well, we'll know as we get farther along. I'm going to try and glue the other side in now. Pretty easy so far. I just broke that side off a little bit. That side's not set yet. Again, I think so far it's simpler than the tank. I broke both sides off. That's why you're supposed to wait. Well, go ahead and put a little bit more glue on. Nope, that's still pretty wet. I guess I'm just going to hold it. I'm gonna need just a hair more glue, I guess. Gravity and humidity are not my friend today. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use zip kicker on it. I don't like doing zip kicker, but I believe it weakens your glue, but it sets it. So check that out. I glued the top on while I wasn't recording. Sorry about that. I set it off to the right a little bit so that it's looking that way. And something I should note is that this is the front of the bottle. Not that it will matter too much, I suppose, because this spins in a 360, so you could just tell somebody that you're having them fire behind you or whatever. Yeah, it matters more for the cosmetics of these portions of the legs. What told me that that was the front is this knob here. I'm almost certain that it's for these. The question is, do they go like this? Which it seems to make sense to me, but it's not going to be the way they go, I'm sure. Because whoa, I think I just lost a piece. There it is. Because these go up here. That little groove right there. Goes there, and that little groove goes on the end. I got a little bit of cleanup on this model here. That's okay. I can do that right here on camera. Just don't cut yourself if you do it like this. Soft resin, so pretty simple to do. Same thing here. And that ledge right there, that groove right there where that knife fits in, that piece fits in like that. So, if you put that tread in there, up like that, well, maybe it'll fit. We'll find out. But I may not do that on video because if that's how that goes, I'm not going to paint it. I might just leave them hanging off the side, put infantry troopers on them. Or another gear, carry gear in combat. Anyway, we're going to move on. We're going to do the first part of the arm, which is this piece here. It has a ball joint, which I'm going to clean up just a little bit more. And that ball joint goes in here, like this. The good news about these joints is that they can go on either side. You're not going to screw them up. What you may or may not want to do is turn it. Turn it to kind of a pain in the butt, sort of. I am going to put this one straight out, and then I'm going to maybe go to the other side and do the other one. Maybe do a little bit something with the other one because that side's turned. Well, both sides are turned. Want to do the other side right away? And we're gonna turn it straight here. Just like that. It's dry. Now we're going to start working our way down the arm. There's a couple things you can do here. The arm goes together. Maybe I should have showed you this first. Goes together. These pieces. Go in here, see that little triangle arrow? That goes to the outside of that elbow / actuator. It does not go oh, there's one on the other side too. Well, that's simple. That makes it easier. I never noticed that before. There's a little arrow on both sides of the model, and they go to, if you look at the fin or the arm guard of this model, the two arrows line up with the sides of that, and then that gives you your posability on this model. And if you notice, this piece is a little bit curved. That's because it goes in here and it's rounded. So you can have him doing a curl, or suppose you can turn this, make it look like his elbow is, you got his like he's throwing a hooker out to the side a little bit. Then a flat piece with the triangle on it is like your shoulder pad. It goes in here like that. Now what I did when I did the tank is I glued these in first. I'm not going to do that this time. I'm going to glue this together first. I want to figure out how I want my arm posed, and I'm going to put the gun in the right arm because, well, most people are right-handed. And I'm going to take a look at the other side here. You can see this one's not as curved for whatever reason. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to turn this. I want to play with this a little bit. This is not the way this model is intended to go together, but I'm going to do it anyway, just because I want to see what I can do with it when I put the auto camera. You know what? I'm actually going to angle it a little bit more like that. So I'm going to take my little glue stick, because I'm not going to try and put a ton of glue in this model with that little, with my Zap-A-Gap that's all messed up. So I'm going to go off track here a little bit. I'm going to glue it together. So I'm probably going to have to hold this a little bit longer because I'm making this more of a challenge for myself than I have to. Real quick, I'm going to see where his arm will fall. Yeah, I kind of like that. It gives him the swivel kind of effect. His gun's going to be pointing to the ground, but you know, I'm okay with that if he looks cool. So, without any ado, I am going to put a drop of glue on this, and I'm going to glue it on. Just a small drop. And I'm going to hold it here until it's dry. It's not dry yet, but I'm going to kind of set it down. Slide it off to the side. I'm going to grab the other arm, the other elbow piece. Get it in my big fat finger here. There's a little bit of cleanup there. Go ahead and clean that up. Just scrape it. It looks like I nipped a piece off there, but that's no biggie. And I am going to do this one the way I intended, the way I believe the model's intended to be made. And I'm going to pretty much put that arm straight. So he's going to be like this off the model. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the glue. Put some in there on both sides. Line my arrows up again and just put that in there. I'm going to set that aside. And then, oops, I'm going to bring the model back, flip them over like this. Try not to break that arm off. I'm going to figure out where this goes. It goes right there like that. I'm going to dip him in the glue. And then I'm going to glue him up. Oops, dropped it. I'm going to take the other side, the other exhaust ports. I'm going to do the same exact thing with it. Flip this over a little bit more so you can see it better. I hope. My fingers are too big, so I'm going to use my knife to straighten the piece out as best I can. And maybe apply a little bit of pressure. There. Top view. I'm going to go ahead and do the head. I'm not going to put a little drop of glue in that. I'm just going to take some from that little glue pile I made, put it right on top of that knob there. Since he turns to the right, I'm going to turn his head to the right a little bit too. I'm going to take one of these hands for the right side, and I'm going to go ahead and use it. Yep, that's a right hand. And if not, it's not really that big of a deal, because I can never tell from across the table what hand it is. In fact, that thumb is so small in comparison to the rest of the stuff. Now, we're going to start working on assembling the weapon, which I kind of like it underneath. But it appears that it doesn't really go that way. It kind of goes on the side. I like it. So I'm gonna nip that off because, well, I don't know what I did that there. I used a pair of Gale Force 9 nippers. I'm gonna take my knife. I'm gonna clean this up a little bit. Ooh, I just snapped it. I'm silly. Oh, I just broke it because, well, I'm a goofball. So, real quick, if I have my pin vise out, which I do, I'm going to go ahead and drill it. That's it. No, I'm not. I'm going to glue it. and I'm gonna end up being happy with it. Now I am gonna pin it. I'm gonna pause it and I'm gonna pin it. So we'll finish up on the other side, and if I can find a paper clip, I'll pin it, but I'm not gonna try and pin it until then. Take this arm, figure out where I want it to go. I can have it in close, kind of out. I'm gonna do the kind of, like I said, I'm gonna do this. Give him I'm a muscle-bound jock kind of look. So real quick, I'm gonna put a drop of glue on it. Hopefully it'll dry up quickly. Now I think I probably should have put his shoulder pad in there first. Well, I'm not so sure he needs it. Looks pretty cool already. Just like that. Have to let that dry a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and try to clean this up a little bit for the pinning. Clean up both sides a little bit so I have something to drill with. Make a little dent in the middle for the pin vise. Take this side here, clean it up a little bit. It broke right at the base, so I can do this without having too many ill effects. I can even take the file, button it out a little bit. Hey, now he's got a snub cannon. And then we just like this. Carefully, you have to do this. Like I said, the resin's very soft, so if you go too fast or you go to either side, you're going to have a huge, you're going to break, you're going to snap. Pull that out. Very carefully pin this right in the middle. Go very slowly. Otherwise you're going to burr out the size of the model, which I kind of did anyway. I really don't. Found a smaller bit. I'm angling it in and I'm going to straighten it out. And I don't want to go too far because then I'll split it right down the middle. But I do want to go far enough that I can get a paper clip or whatever I'm going to use. I'm probably going to use a piece of copper wire, I think. Okay, now I'm going to pause. Okay, I'm back. I have found me a paper clip. I cut it to the appropriate length, which is pretty short, and I'm having a hard time holding it. So we're going to try and get this in here. Not going to work so well. little devils. I don't know where my magnets are. Got it in. Set it down for a second. We'll take that section there, put some glue in it. Hopefully I can do this without using too much of the glue. I did just fine. I got a little bit of a divot that from the drill snapped a little bit of that plastic off right there. You can see that. Well, I'm going to try and keep that to the bottom so the vibrosaur hides it. And I'm just going to hold this, and I'm going to set it aside and let it dry. I'm trying to be picky about it being centered, so it looks like it was not broken. I think I did okay. Try and move it a little bit here. I'm gluing it to myself. Glue on this right now is a bad thing. On my fingers, I mean. Which I did. I glued it to me. Where'd it go? So I basically have to start over. I mean, not start over, but start the alignment over again. Which is probably the toughest part of this. Especially since I've got glue on myself. I'm just gonna have to live with it pretty much how it falls, I think. Which across the table you're not gonna be able to tell. So I set that aside. I guess I'm gonna work on this hand on the other side. I need a left-handed hand. He's gonna do a small handstand. Make sure that's the right fit. It looks like it's the right fit. If not, I'll snap it off and put the correct one. Now the only thing left are these pieces here. These pieces. The turret, the machine gun, which while that starts to dry, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to work on that. You just take this little piece here, and I'm going to dip it in that glue pile I made because my bottle has been destroyed. And you know what? It might have just glued it. You glue it in here. And then you kind of set that aside and let it dry, otherwise you're not going to do anything. Now I'm going to play around with these guys on the back. It kind of makes sense to me that they go like that. See, that's not going to be able to fold up underneath. It's just not going to happen. But these are the back of the tank. Let me grab my tank real quick so I can show you. Yeah, I'm getting ready to paint this. See, they're on the back here. This is the back side, and they shoot out like that. So it makes sense to me that they're either fixed and barely move, or they would hang down like that. I kind of like them up here like this because you can put a gear back. Or, well, infantry. I wouldn't put a gear there. It's a little bit heavy. I'll probably fall over. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these on here. I'm going to put the glue in this end. And I'm going to use this side because it has a deeper divot. I'm going to hold that. It dried pretty quick, I'm impressed. And then I'm going to do the other side. Just like that. Now, one thing I didn't mention before is he does come with a base. I didn't glue him on it yet because I wanted to see how big he was, where I was going to put things, if I want to put rocks on it, whatever. I got some slate stuff from my mom and dad's that I can use. That's why I didn't do that. So now, we're going to go ahead and take one of these little triangle pieces and we're going to put it in his arm as best we can. This is actually not going to be that easy, I think. Oh, this one might be easy because of what it did. So I'm actually going to go ahead and put a drop of glue there. Now, if you're the type of person who really, really cares a lot about their paint job, this is a model that you're probably going to want to paint first. Because I'm not going to be able to paint inside there. It's all darkness anyway, so I'll be able to paint the highlights on the edge there and stuff where the sun's hitting it, but I clearly should have bent this arm a little bit more, and I don't feel like breaking that off to do that. Maybe I'll drill some bullet holes in him. He stands up, he's a much bigger target than Tank is sitting down. The way I almost put him in my glue. That would have been bad, right? So now we're going to go ahead and do the other side, which is going to go on a lot nicer. Here it is. Go on like that. Just like that. It even looks nicer in my opinion already. I'm going to put a drop of glue right there on his arm. Just a little smidge. That's all I need. Put that in there. And you have pretty much a complete Hussar. Get this weapons machine gun thing in here. Put that in there. I actually kind of like it off to the side. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue in the bottom there. Hold on to the gun. And in my opinion, the tank variant is a lot more difficult to put together than the gear variant. So if you have no interest in putting together the tank, you're going to have a lot more interesting time to put this together. Now, in the last video I did, I said I was going to round this right here a little bit, and because I want it to fit onto his barrel, well, the barrel drum for the ignition. So I'm just going to take a little slice off here, careful not to break it. And then I'm going to take a round file, put it on the ground here, or the tabletop. I just want to round it a little bit. Enough to get it in there for when I glue it. Which I did. Take that, use it to spread my glue out. Hold that there like that. Set it aside. These ammo canisters from assembling the tank, I found go here underneath the arm. I probably should have done that first, because now I'm going to have a hard time getting in there. Actually, wow. Because I turned them a little bit, it's going to be a tough fit. I'm just going to have to glue it onto his hip. Interesting. I wonder if I'm going to have that problem on the other side. I'll show you now that I have it glued on, if I can get to a good angle for it. See this divot back here and that divot right there? That is supposed to fit in there. But because I twisted his body a little bit, that won't work. Same thing on the other side. It's not going to work for me on this side because I put some more dynamic posing into it. It won't work. So I'm just going to glue that. I suppose I could do this. That looks silly to me that way. So I'm just going to glue it right on the side of his leg, like it's part of his leg. It looks a lot nicer. I made a mistake. There's nothing I can do to fix it. Actually, it looks like you're going to need to cut off the clip and get those legs in tighter, about 1/8 of an inch, which would be taking off the clip. I don't even think it would have mattered if I would have done it otherwise. I will, when I put together my next one, I'll add comments to the post, the figure forge post about it, and we'll see how I could fix that problem. Well, there you go. Oh, not quite. We're gonna move this gun on here. Yep, we're gonna glue that on there. Goes just about like that. I'm gonna hold that long enough, and you kind of want to try and make sure that you're pretty flush here, because this piece goes across the arm like that. So I'm going to go ahead and put a drop of glue on there for that right now. Get that on there. Try and straighten it up before the glue dries. It's drying pretty quick today. And because I did that little funky arm twist thing, this isn't lining up quite the way it should. Right here, it should line up just a little bit better. But I'm okay with that because I like the fact that it looks like he's tweaking his arm to aim the weapon better. I'm okay with that. As long as it looks okay when I paint it. Now, you have the gear body assembled. I'm going to go ahead and grab the weapons that I did from the tank because they just switch in and out from the top, and we're going to go ahead and swap them real quick. You have the anti-aircraft version, and I'm just going to hold this on because it's not magnetized on my model. So there you go, there's the anti-aircraft version. And as you can see, I already magnetized that, so it's going to just be held on. That's the twin link cannons. The railgun. And now, to put this in perspective for you, how's that for a model? And the missile pods, and you're like, oh wait, where are they? Well, I magnetized them so I could swap them out if I wanted to. It was probably a little bit more work than I needed to do, but I did. There you have it. Figure forge of the Hussar from GreenPod 9 for NuCoal. GreenPod 9 is having a Facebook competition this week. If you like them, you can enter into a contest to win a Heavy Gear Blitz 2-player tournament. Thank you for that one.